Hi, my name is Giff. I'm joined by my co-authors, Renee Barsoum and Professor Huseyin Dogan, and we'll be presenting the results of our work on defining UX Research Point of View Playbook. So a number of publications, including from Professor Dogan and myself, have argued that the UX research discipline has reached an inflection point where there's an expectation for research practitioners to leverage practices and knowledge to establish and communicate points of view. However, it's acknowledged that there are a lack of tools, guidelines, and practices readily available for them to do so. So we therefore propose a playbook that provides a set of criteria, standards, and tools to guide researchers to form compelling points of views that ultimately drives impact. So let me just provide a bit of context before we delve into the details. So what is a point of view? A point of view is a perspective whereby everything is interpreted or at least influenced through the lens of that perspective. So we can think of a non-HCI example around environmental policy that's being discussed by by a climate scientist and an economist. So each focusing on different aspects of the problem based on their perspectives or viewpoints, and that's going to kind of try and sway arguments. But what about a UX research point of view? So a UX research point of view is a perspective based on data, evidence, and insights that shape how you observe, interpret, and represent the needs of your target users within a given context or domain. And why is this important? Well, there are a number of reasons listed here. For example, not duplicating research that's already taken place, building a body of work that so you can be recognized as an expert, and ensuring that your work helps to define a future vision and strategy for the area that you're working on. So by way of an example, I would like you to imagine for a moment that you've just completed a series of tactical usability studies or an extensive piece of research that spanned many months. Now you're asked by the product team, so what does this mean? What should we do with these insights? Now, our colleagues in engineering, product management, and design expect a response other than, well, it depends, or let's do some more research. What they expect from us is a clear point of view. So the problem, however, is that many of us are trained to be conservative with our conclusions. How can we make decisions based on just 6 participants? But we are not making decisions based on 6 participants. We're making decisions based on an enormous foundation of scientific and observational knowledge, from cognitive psychology and perception, from human factors and HCI models, and our own primary research that aims to answer strategic and tactical questions. So these ultimately are the ingredients of what a point of view is. And what about a playbook? Well, while the specific origins of playbooks are difficult to identify, it's commonly accepted that playbooks originated from the world of sports, specifically from American football. Now, a playbook typically consists of a book of defensive and offensive tactics that diagrams plays to be used throughout the game. Now, they've subsequently been used by practitioners from multiple disciplines, including business and, of course, UX design. Now, the UX research playbook that we're building defines a set of plays and instructions for practitioners to build, establish, and land a compelling UX research point of view. And as previously mentioned, our aim is to equip UX research practitioners with comprehensive strategies and tools to empower them to build a valuable point of view. And with that, let me pass you over to Renee to delve into the details.
So our work was mainly focused on the method of using workshops. And our workshop aimed onto identifying the building blocks for a UX research point of view and explore the pyramid metaphor we're using, understand barriers to strong point of view development, and identify building blocks for our playbook. We had professionals from diverse backgrounds, nationalities, and experience levels in human-computer interaction and user experience research. This diversity enriched our discussions and the outcome. The workshop comprised online pre-workshop activities, including lightning talks and analogical thinking exercises, which prepared us for the in-person session when we have revisited previous UX research point of views and collaboratively developed offensive and defensive strategies, aiming to advance and strengthen the UX research point of view and address challenges in maintaining its quality. The outcome was a substantial collection of potential playing cards for the UX research point of view playbook. So the pyramid serves as an apt metaphor for structuring our user experience point of view. Its progressive shape mirrors the iterative process of building a strong point of view. The foundation of UX research point of view lies at the basis of the pyramid. This involves establishing clear business objective and robust research project purpose and plan. Moving up the pyramids, we focus on collecting relevant data. This includes both existing and new data collected using appropriate research resources and techniques. As we ascend the pyramid, our focus shifts to uncovering unbiased meanings within the collected data to start building new findings and insights. At the peak of the pyramid, we arrive at our UX research point of view. This is the climax of the UX research effort, a compelling narrative that drives impact.
UX research point of view pyramid is aligned well with the evidence-based theoretical underpinning research. The pyramid correlates to the cognitive hierarchy of data, information, knowledge, understanding. The top level here is wisdom. This is the part where we build our point of view. So in this case, data correlates, becomes information. Information converted into situational awareness becomes knowledge. Knowledge used to predict the consequences of actions leads to understanding. This point of view pyramid helps us to build a situational awareness, leading to a common operating picture in terms of UX research.
As part of the workshop outcome, we identified the building blocks that align with each level of the point of view pyramid, and indeed a playbook. The building blocks form the conceptual components of each pyramid level. Ultimately, these components would make up the playbook's element. For example, the outputs of the foundational level should be based on actual business problems and use existing frameworks and knowledge. Similarly, the insight generation output should answer the why, and the insights should be actionable. Each building block can be related to one or multiple cards belonging to a playbook. Our playbook structure is centered around the pyramid metaphor, comprising the 4 levels. The structure emphasizes the progression from one level to another, answering the question, what do we need to get to the next level? The focus is on upward movements, symbolizing maturity and advancement. However, flexibility is key. Sometimes researchers find it necessary to move both up and down the levels to achieve a compelling point of view. The playbook addresses actions and practices that drive the team towards achieving the point of view level of the pyramid. Each level of the pyramid features a horizontal line which holds the best practice cards and the be ready cards. Arrows are utilized to visually represent the dynamics and movements between the pyramid levels, highlighting the interconnected nature, the intersection process. Here's an example of one of the playbook cards. And as it displays, the issue that it's treating is stakeholders finding bias, which is a blocker for quality insights. The quote we're using is, whoever pays the piper calls the tune. The card is connected to other cards that researchers can reference. The other side have our best practice guidance to avoid the stakeholders and funding bias, together with our hypothesis. And here's an example of one of the plays. This one is focusing on how to get stakeholders buy into the foundational research effort. And we're covering and addressing the questions of how do stakeholders and leaders buy into the foundational research effort? And how do we ensure commitment to both sponsoring the work and leveraging the research insights? The following cards are proposed to help and guide teams into getting that buy-in. The cards feature cross-functional collaboration, business awareness, demonstrate impact, share success stories, build a network, provide empathy opportunities, provide clear roadmap, and finally, stakeholders and funding bias.
There are numerous applications of the point of view playbook. It can help to support UX practitioners in building compelling point of views that elevates the user needs and requirements. It can help organizations up-level and train UX researchers in best practices and support UX research teams in creating strategic research plans and programs. It can guide cross-functional teams and assist UX research practitioners about the scope, breadth, and quality of UX research. It can also increase the integrity and credibility of UX research methods, observations, and insights based on the case study applications. Thank you. So please do get in touch with us if you would like to apply the UX Research Point of View Playbook to your own case study. Thanks.